Welcome back to another season of Horror 365. And I want to take this time right now to thank those that supported us since day one, who viewed us on YouTube, who listened to us on whatever audio platform that you listen to us on. Thank you. And thinking about it right now, maybe you're asking yourself, Jimmy, what could we expect for season 2? And well, one word, more. More interviews, more conversations, more topic discussions, more entertainment, more South Jersey Jason proclaiming he's an A-list actor from the Friday the 13th fan film. His name was Jason, signing those 6x6, which I can't take any more of, to be honest with you. But needless to say, you can expect more. And with that being said, I want to welcome you to the debut episode of Season 2 with our special guest, Mr. David Howard Thornton. Thank you for your continuous support. Thank you for tuning in. And thank you for celebrating horror, not only in October, but 365. It's showtime. Horrorheads, welcome back to another episode of Horror 365. I am your host, the mouthpiece of the Northeast, Jimmy J, alongside today the South Jersey slasher himself and special in-studio guest right here, Horror Daddy 85, for this very special edition of Horror 365. And it's going to be a terrifying experience today as we are joined by the Terrifier himself, Mr. David Howard Thornton. Dave, how you been, buddy?
I've been good, guys. Happy New Year to you guys.
Happy New Year. I'm so happy to have you on. I know Josh is as well. Huge fan right here. That's why we had to have him on. Part of the Horror 365 team. And I got to tell you.
All the swag.
Look at it. Look at it. Love it. Show it off there. Terrifier. And we're going to get into Terrifier, of course, and Terrifier 2. And a couple other things you got going on. But I just got to tell you, first of all, no clowning around today, Dave, okay?
No promises.
So I asked everybody this in the beginning, what was your introduction into the horror genre? Like, what was the first horror movie you watched? What did it for you?
Well, really, I was a late bloomer because my mom was afraid of horror films, so we didn't really watch them in my house. It wasn't until my senior year in high school, which dates me now when I say what movie, because it came out during the holidays, right before the holiday season started, and like my cast, I was doing a show with Christmas Carol. They all wanted to go see it, and we're like, okay. And there was this girl that I had a crush on that was going to go to it. And I'm like, well, I can't chicken out in front of this girl, so I'm going to go. And so we went all to go see Scream 2, and I was like, oh my God, this is awesome.
You skipped the original and went right for the sequel.
Yeah. And I, of course, after I saw Scream 2, I had to go immediately back and watch Scream 1. And I'm like, oh my God, this is even better.
But wait a minute, that's the one in the theater. It starts out in the theater, Scream 2?
Yeah.
Oh, that was even better. You're in the theater, then you see the theater, and it's like, okay. And they're all wearing ghost faces.
Very meta.
So we're the same age, so that was probably, what, your senior year of high school?
Yeah, 97.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm feeling you. I'm dating myself,
graduated
too.
in 98. Ugh.
Yep, me too.
Oh, God, it sucks. I hate getting old.
Likewise.
Getting all the aches and pains.
Hey, Ben Gay's your best friend. I'm telling you.
I got the stock of it in the bathroom.
Oh, my God.
You're originally from Huntsville, Alabama. So talk to us about growing. I'm sure it was probably a southern town. Like, I don't know if, like, you were a late bloomer and get into the horror genre. So what was it like growing up in Alabama? And then when did you leave home to pursue your career?
Yeah, Huntsville's kind of an anomaly when it comes to like Alabama, because it's not what you think of when you think of Alabama. Because like Huntsville is a town of engineers and scientists. That's where NASA was first started. Like my grandfather worked on the very original rocket team with Dr. Von Braun. He was with the Army Missile Command, so he like built the original rockets that went up in space. And then my dad worked for NASA for about 40 years, working on space shuttle missions and stuff like that. So it's like, I come from like a family, engineers and teachers. So it's not your traditional Southern type of,
It's the other
yeah.
Southern.
Yeah, and so I didn't even understand the term redneck until I went to college, because I went to college in the middle of nowhere, bumfuck Alabama, Montevallo, which is literally the center of the state. And
Nice.
then I see it, I'm like, oh, this is what everybody talks about. Because, like, yeah, we have a little bit of that in Huntsville, but it's like a huge melting pot of people from all over the world that kind of move to Huntsville to work for different government programs there. So it's like you don't really that until you get outside the city. And you're like, oh, now if you go to Walmart like at 12 o'clock at like midnight or something like that, that's when you see the banjo players and stuff
Yep.
like that. And you're like, oh, they come out like cockroaches when the lights go down. It's like,
That's awesome.
oh, yep, here they are. The Bubba coming in with his overall and no shirt underneath, and it's like 40 degrees outside, and he's got some man boobs hanging out the side. Like, yeah, John Deere hat
So
on.
this is
Like,
what it's like. This is what
Yeah.
everybody sees us
Yeah.
like. Okay.
So,
Oh, yeah.
David, when did you know that you wanted to pursue acting? How early on did that come about?
Oh, that was pretty early on. I'm like my parents were very involved with church theater, so I was doing that at a very, very early age, like singing in the choir and stuff like that. But it really didn't really sink in with me until I was in middle school because I was bullied a lot growing up. I was short and had glasses, braces, very skinny, still boy soprano in 8th grade, and so easy target.
Yeah.
I mean, like my doctor said I was going to be like 5'4" tallest. So it's just like I was a late bloomer. I was like
Wow.
5 foot
Wow.
tall, maybe in 8th grade. So I was a little guy. Everybody else had already hit that spurt, and I'm like, "Hi, guys." So it's just-
Hey, what's up, man?
yeah. So it's just like, oh, great. So easy target. I was very shy, and my mom was like, you need to do something, so people can see your real side, because I was always goofy and doing all kinds of crazy stuff at home and stuff like that. They got to see that real side of you. It's like,
Right.
well, your choral program's going to be doing Mickey's Christmas Carol this year, and I think you do a great Mickey Mouse voice. So why don't you audition for the role of Mickey Mouse of that, Bob Cratchit? And I'm like, okay, sure, and I did, got the part, and we're doing the show, and things start to go wrong in the show. Like that at one point, like the set fell down on top of Scrooge and I. Thank God it was a
Oh
cardboard.
my God, it's
set.
like Home Alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Oh.
we're like our heads were like poking out from underneath the cardboard, and I just turned to him and go, Mr. Scrooge, I think we have rats. It's just that kind of stuff. And like later on, we had like the Cratchit family scene, and we're eating our little crappy little turkey dinner, like this little bitty bird on the table. The table breaks, and it flings the chicken over the audience.
Oh,
No.
no.
And I just don't miss a beat. I just like, well, I guess we're having fast food tonight, folks.
That was
man.
awesome.
That's great.
Quick thinking.
And I had the audience just laughing. I was just covering through all the things going wrong. This is just something I instinctually just knew how to do. And it's like the first time at that school that people were laughing with me instead of at me.
Yeah.
And I love that feeling. I was like, I'm in the one in control right now. This is my moment right now, and I like this feeling. I love bringing this kind of joy and merriment to everybody around me. I was like, I want more of this, and so like I really started pursuing doing community theater and like a lot more theater when I got to high school the next year. And I was like, yeah, I want to do this. But when I went to college, I was trying to be pragmatic. Like I said, I come from a family of engineers and teachers. So I'm like, well, okay, acting is not really a stable career path. I want to be able to support a family and all that kind of stuff one day. So yeah, I love kids, family teachers. Why don't I go into teaching as well? I'd be good at this. And so I went to college, and even though I did theater on the side at college when I could, I was studying to be an elementary school teacher. And then my mom passed away about a year or so before I was supposed to graduate, and that kind of changed my whole trajectory on
Yeah.
life. It just like I was very, unhappy, going in total downward spiral, and realized one day when I was doing my internship with, I was doing story time with my kids, and I was reading a story, and I was doing all the little voices for the characters, and they were all laughing, having fun, and I was like, I get more fulfillment out of entertaining my students than teaching them. Damn it, I should just do this. This is what I need to do. And talk to my dad, expect a big, huge speech since, he's Mr. Pragmatic Engineer, and he's like, no, your mom and I always thought you should be an actor. We just didn't want to tell you what to do with your life. So why don't you just, take a year off, get your head back in the game, and finish up your degree, and then so you have that to fall back on. But after that, go do what you want to do. And that's what I did. And I, saved money for a few years and moved up to New York, and worked my ass off here for years and years and years, about 13 of those, just doing odd jobs, waiting tables, doing random gigs. And, eventually Terrifier came along and changed everything.
Yeah. All right. So your first break was playing Art the Clown, but previously you did voiceover work. So how does one get hired? And is it the same process as auditioning for a role of a movie?
Yeah, voiceover works a little bit different because they usually don't have open calls for like that means like anybody can just show up for an audition. Usually with voiceover work, you have to have an agent that gets you a slot for the auditions, and so I had to take a lot of classes and stuff like that just so I could put a demo and all that kind of stuff together, and then boom, you just start doing that. But like the auditions for voiceover work, of course, they're all just with your voice, so it can be a challenge in itself because you have to do everything just with your voice. You can't act things out, show them your physicality. It's all got to be with your voice. And sometimes, especially I hate getting commercial copy because I hate selling things. It just feels so fake to me. I like to play characters. I don't be like, here, buy this water, it's great.
Yeah.
It just feels so ugh. And sometimes you would get copy that's like they want you because you have to get everything for a commercial. You have to get everything in a certain time frame. And I remember I had this one. It was like 3 huge paragraphs that they wanted me to say in 30 seconds or less. And I'm like, do I look like the Micro Machine guy? I have dyslexia too, so that was usually with voiceover you don't get the copy beforehand to like so you can look over the script and everything to prepare. You only usually get it right before you go in the room, so you can look over it a few times and go in there. And I was struggling on that copy. I was like, oh, okay, because it was like a vacation place. All these places you can go down in like South America. So I'm like, I took French in high school. I didn't take Spanish, so I was just like, I don't know how to say half of these words.
Panama, Cuba. He's pumping out countries over here.
Oh, yeah, man. I was like, Playa de blah, 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 blah. I'm like, fuck. I sounded so white. I was like, oh.
You brought out your inner Caucasian. It's okay.
Yeah.
I will take a taco.
That's it. You want queso on that taco?
So,
Dave, you're still in New York? You're still
I am. Freezing my butt off today.
Oh, yeah. I just, thank God, recently moved out of there. Born and raised out there.
Yeah.
It's too much. It was too much for me. It's expiration date living in New York. I got to tell you that, too.
I understand completely. If it wasn't for work keeping me here, I would have probably moved out to California a long time ago.
Yeah, dude. No, I know. I was wondering if you're still over there. In the city, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I live in Astoria, which is right outside of the city. It's like in Queens, so we're like right next to the river. So it's like it's really Astoria is still in the city.
RFK, it's considered city like that. A lot of people. Yeah, you're right. You're right by the bridge and Long Island City, right over there. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So just to give you like when Jimmy moved from the city to the sticks, if you remember my cousin Vinny, when they're trying to find a place to sleep and they're sleeping in the cabin and the owl like screeches and Joe Pesci comes out with a gun and starts shooting. That was Jimmy getting used to his elements.
PA life. PA life. Yeah. What's going on out there? What are you doing? Why is everybody waving with 5 fingers instead of 1?
Why is there a train coming at 4:30 in the morning?
Oh my God. See, you had to do the opposite of what I had to do when I moved to New York, because I had to get used to not waving at everybody walking down the street and saying, hi, how are you? And to everybody on the subway. And people are like, what the hell is wrong with you, man?
Why is this guy so nice? What is he trying to do?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like Eddie Murphy in Coming to America. Good morning, man.
Yeah.
All right, so Art's not the first clown you portrayed. You actually were in season 3 of Nightwing Escalation, which is a fan web series, and you played the Joker. And so, are you a avid comic fan?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a huge geek.
Okay.
I'm a huge geek. It's just like, you just look at me and like, oh yeah, he's a geek. But yeah, you don't know when I'm in the makeup though. But yeah, I'm like huge Batman fan. Like Joker's my favorite villain of all time, so that was just like a dream come true. I'm like, what really make it a dream come true is I really get to play it like big time, like
Hmm.
TV series especially, because a movie would be fun, but TV series you get to spend more time with the character instead of just 2 hours.
Right.
You got seasons you can just dive in deep with him, and because he's a very complex character, like it's like, and I've always wanted to bring the actual comic book version of him to life because I don't feel like all the on-screen incarnations of him since like Romero have really done it. It's
And
like they
that leads into my next question. When I was watching you, I kind of felt it was a mix of Cesar Romero and the
Mhm.
80s comic version of the Joker kind of
Yeah.
together. Yeah. So that was
Yeah.
like your inspiration.
Yeah, also a little bit of Hamill thrown in there too.
Okay.
It's just
Okay.
like I do a lot of his affectations with my voice, but I don't try to do a full on Hamill because it's like, yeah, you don't step on Superman's cape. But I tried to blend a lot of my favorite versions of Joker and then add my own thing to it. So just like it's fun.
So even though like you weren't a fan of the theatrical ones, other than TV, Cesar Romero,
Mhm.
out of the ones we've seen on the big screen, which one did you like?
Oh, well, I have to exclude, I guess, Hamill because he has done it on the big screen because he was in Mask of the Phantasm, which released in
True.
theaters. So,
Yeah, true.
but
Yeah.
live action wise, I would say probably, even though he wasn't the actual comic book version of the character, the way he lost himself in the character,
Mm.
I really loved. And you're not sitting there going, "Oh, that's Heath Ledger." You're going, "Wow, he's really just." You totally believe him as this character. It's that was my thing with Jack Nicholson. He was great, but he was still Jack Nicholson.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, yeah. I wanted to see someone just lose himself into that character, and that's what Heath Ledger did. And that's what I love
Yeah,
about his
and
performance.
and then the guy who will play the next Joker, he's gonna have big, shoes to fill, like
Yeah,
who plays Superman, because Christopher Reeve will ever be
yeah.
Superman. So you're a fan of DC. This is off topic, but what do
Mhm.
you think of the current DCU? Are you a fan of it, or like,
It's kind of gotten wonky. I haven't really been reading comic books as much in the past few years as
Oh, I was more
it's
talking about the. I'm
yeah.
sorry, the
Oh,
cinematic.
the cinematic. Oh,
Yeah.
That says it all.
That says it all.
yeah.
Although
It's
even though it's not part of DCU, the new Robert Pattinson Batman is pretty intriguing looking.
I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued, but I'm also I don't know how I feel about him as Bruce Wayne. He doesn't. I see him more as a Dick Grayson. I think he would be
Yeah.
an excellent Dick Grayson. He has the physicality of Dick Grayson.
Right. Yeah.
And people that read the comic books and knows that Dick Grayson's a freaking badass. Actually, he's a better Batman than Bruce Wayne is.
Oh, for sure. If you watch Titans, that's a great show.
Yeah.
If
Oh
you
yeah.
watch that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The guy that plays him on there's great. I'm like,
Yeah.
he's very good. He's very good, Dick Grayson. So it's like, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm like, I'm interested to see what Paul Dano does with Riddler. This looks like a total different take of the Riddler. So I'm like,
Mhm.
okay. And plus, Paul Dano's such a great actor. So I'm like,
Yeah.
when they first cast him as Riddler, I was like, oh, he's perfect. He's got that. He's that very cerebral type of guy anyway. So I'm like, yeah, like it looks like they're kind of going a little bit of a jigsaw route with him, which
Right.
is kind of
Yeah.
cool. So
And
I'm like,
then
but that totally works for the character. I think it's like I would
yeah,
like to see that kind, just make him a very egotistical jigsaw-like character, and I think that will work just fine. That makes him more of a threat, I guess, instead of just like the old Gorshin days,
right.
or the Jim Carrey. Intruder alert! Intruder alert!
Yeah, I
Jim
did not
Carrey.
like those two Batman films by Schumacher. While he's a great director,
Yeah.
I kinda
Everybody
like-
chill.
Because when Batman
Sure,
had nipples,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Batman had nipples in that one.
Oh my god! Bing! It's because it was so cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr.
It gets
Freeze,
cold in the
yeah.
Batcave.
So Alfred, turn up the heat.
Sorry, Mr.
Oh man, all right, we're gonna segue now from Batman to the Terrifier. Total
Okay.
opposite. Hard segue there. How did you hear about the script, Dave? And what was the audition like? I'm curious about that.
Yeah, I found out about all of that through just online post on Actors Access. I was in the middle of this hiatus I took from waiting tables after I came back from my last tour with the Grinch. And I was like, I'm just going to focus on auditioning. And at that time, I was really just trying to focus on musical theater because that's what I originally moved to New York to do, is Broadway. And I had been up for like 4 or 5 different Broadway tours and the final callbacks. And every single one of them fell through for one reason or another. One of them literally came down to a coin flip.
Oof.
And it was like, yeah, and I hated it too because it was Roger Rees that was directing it, and it was right before he passed away. And I was like, oh my God, the sheriff of Rottingham himself. I'm like, oh my God, it would have been great to do that under him because like he's such a great actor. But that's how it happened. But so I was like, okay, well, I came across this audition, and I was like, I'd love to start doing some film work because I had never really done any film. I've done like extra work, but that's it. And I'm like, this would be a good thing to like, pad my resume with, who knows where this, I mean, it's an independent film. Who knows if anybody will see it? I mean, I had seen Oh Hallows Eve, so I knew the character, and I was like, it's a great character. I would love to have a shot at this. So I think I'm perfect for it. And they were looking for a tall, skinny guy with clowning or physical comedy experience playing him. So I'm like, oh yeah. So I'm like, this is great. This will be a good way just to get my foot in the door in the industry and see, how, so I can learn this aspect. Because like I said, I didn't go to college to be an actor. So I knew how to do stage work, but like film work was new to me. So I was like, this is going to be a great way just to throw myself in and just see how all this works. And I go in there for the audition, and I'm used to getting my scripts for like, plays and stuff like that in advance so I can learn my lines and everything like that. And I didn't get any. And because obviously art doesn't talk, so what lines am I going to learn? So I figured I was going to have like something they were going to give me, so I just sing to act out or something like that. But I got nothing from my agent, so I walk into the room. I see all these other people's scripts, and I'm like, oh no, oh my God, no! This is my first feature film audition, and I am not prepared. Oh God. And I even asked people, can I have a script? I'm like, well, you should have gotten one. We don't have any extras. I'm like,
no. It's like shit.
Yeah. So I go into the room, and like, when they call me in, I'm like, it was just Damien and our producer Phil, and I'm like, I am so sorry. No one gave me a script. I was like, yeah, you don't need one. Art doesn't talk. I'm like, yeah. He's like, don't worry about it. Just like come up with a scene where you are happy about decapitating a guy and go. And I'm like, oh, can I have a few minutes to think about it? And they're like, no, we just want to see what we can do on your feet. I'm like, cool, okay. And like, this is where I'm glad I have my experience with improvisation. And I think this is why every actor needs to have some kind of background in improvisation, because you will get thrown into these kind of situations, especially with voiceover work. They'll just throw characters at you from time to time, and you just got to boom right on your feet and do it. And that's what I did. And I don't know what this says about me, how messed up I am in my head, but when I get in the zone, I get in the zone. I don't even think. I just, whatever happens, happens. And I did this whole thing where I like cartoonishly snuck up behind my victim, knocked him out, like started like brutalizing, and cut off his head, picked it up, like tasted it, and like, blah, and like nope. And I take out a salt shaker and season it some, taste it again. I'm like, this is good, and kind of bathe the blood a little bit and just skip out on my merry happy way.
And are you related to the Bundys?
No, I hope not.
I'm not talking about Al either.
I don't know where any of that came from. So it's like, but it's like, when I do this stuff too, I'm totally oblivious to, what's going on in front of me. I'm in my zone, and I didn't see how Phil and Damien are reacting until the end, when I'm like, there you go. And then I'm like, I know it's like Damien just has his head down on the table laughing, and Phil is just sitting there just grinning, like, holy shit. They're like, so are you okay with makeup? I'm like, yeah, I do a lot of kids shows. I'm used to crazy makeup jobs and stuff like that. And they're like, whoa, can you come in for a makeup test? I'm like, yeah, I'd be happy to. And so that I kind of considered the makeup test my final audition, even though apparently I already had the part. but I go in there and they do the makeup on me. And one of the things I like to do when I get makeup is I like to go and sit in front of a mirror for a while and just make faces because I want to see how everything reads.
Yeah.
And just see what I can do with everything, And they're like, "Well, Dave, we have one more thing you got to do. If you do this, then we know you have the part." I'm like, "Okay." It's like, "We just called the pizza guy. He's showing up." And the doorbell rings. Like, "Go answer the door." Is Art.
Oh my goodness!
Nice.
How'd you answer the door?
And so, as Art, just kind of opened it up, and I just like, and I just
man,
hand him the money, and he's just like, "Oh hell no!"
I don't get paid enough for this.
Yeah, and it was like in the middle of daytime in Staten Island when this happened. This guy just like, "Man, no." And I'm like,
No.
"Take the money."
You're like,
and I just wave at him, and he goes off. He just like drives away, and then I go out, and the neighbors are outside, and I go out, and there's like a kid running in the yard. I'm like, and the kid's like, "Ah!" Mom got pissed off and everything. And I was like, "Oh yeah, you got the part."
Nice. So after you officially got the part, did you study, did you watch like clown videos or study pantomime? Because Art's really, it's his body language, and that's scary. So what did you do to prepare for that?
Well, I've basically been preparing for that my whole entire life.
Okay.
My parents and my maternal grandparents especially gave me a really good education in comedy. They had me watching the old black and white, silent films at an early age. I was watching Chaplin and like Laurel and Hardy, Abbott and Costello, Marx Brothers, Three Stooges, all that, Buster Keaton, all that kind of stuff at an early age. And then my aunt, I thank her so much for this. Probably the best Christmas gift anybody ever gave me, other than my dog, was this. She gifted me a box set of Mr. Bean videos when I was about 13.
Nice.
And I just loved them, and I would watch them over and over and over and over and over and over and over. And ever since then, since I was like 13 years old, I had always wanted to play a character like that. That was like this silent, mischievous type character. And I never really got an opportunity to do that. But until Art came along, and I was like, this is perfect opportunity. I'm like, yeah, Art is basically an evil Mr. Bean. He's basically the bastard child of Harpo Marx and Freddy Krueger. And that's how I approached him.
Yeah, I like that.
So that's where I got a lot of that from. I just pulled from all of that background. And plus, I have a huge appreciation for really good physical comedians. Of course, those guys, but also like Jim Carrey. I was a huge fan of his back in the day. Like Robin Williams I was a big fan of course, Rowan Atkinson. And Doug Jones was a big influence on me too, because like he and I are so much alike physically. And I always kind of looked at him as a model of where I wanted my career to possibly go one day. Because I'm like, yeah, he's a creature guy. He can play all these characters. He does all this crazy makeup and stuff. So he can play so many characters. He's so versatile this way. And it's like that he's going to have longevity for his career because of that. He doesn't have to worry about aging like most actors do. He's like, yeah, Doug's in his 60s now. He's still doing this stuff, and it's great. And he's not slowing down. And so I looked at him as a good sort of inspiration. But also, when I was touring with Grinch, I was the understudy for our Grinch, who was Stephen Carl, who was Robbie Rotten from the show Lazy Town. And Stephen actually trained as a clown. And he had a mastery over his body that I have never seen anybody else. He was basically known as Iceland's Jim Carrey. And so that's what he would do with Grinch. He would just do a lot of clowning, and he was able to, even though I had done a lot of physical comedy growing up, he was able to take what I had done, and it's like, I like what you're doing, but here's how to make it better. And he would just fine tune everything. And so that was very fresh in my head when I first started doing art, because it's like, yeah, it was less than a year. So I was like, and I had done Grinch for 5 years. So that's all I had really known for 5 years was Stefan's, comedy. And I was like, well, this is how I would approach a lot of my scenes. I would like, okay, how would Stefan approach this? What would he be doing for this action and this action and this action? And that's kind of what I did. I put my own spin on what he'd done. And so
Okay.
I really, he was a big source of inspiration for me. And of course, there are the other villains out there. Of course, Joker's huge
Yeah.
influence for me, but like
Yeah.
Freddy Krueger, Chucky, Mike Myers, Jason, Pinhead, Jigsaw, Leatherface, they're all in art. He's kind of
Sure.
an amalgamation of all the slasher icons that came before him.
Yeah.
He has all their tendencies. There's little bits of pieces of all of them in
And
him.
you
That's
definitely
what I
can see
love
that.
about him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So filming Terrifier and speaking with other horror actors, they would sometimes stay in character, not associate with their
Mhm.
fellow cast members. Did you do the same thing?
Oh no.
No.
No. Now, if someone wants it from me, I have no problem doing that. But that's just not how I am as an actor. I like to build trust with my co-stars, especially when we're doing like fight scenes and everything like that. I want us to have a good relationship, so we're already trusting each other and we can rely on each other in that way. And with stage work, you're able to do that a lot more because you spend so many rehearsals together. With film, sometimes you're just showing up for the first time working with that actor on that day, and you're like,
Yeah.
okay, now we got to trust each other.
Automatically.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, I
yeah,
can see catering as art. Walking on catering
Yeah.
food. Oh,
So
man.
that's what I would do. I'll at least try to bond with them. And the fun thing was, especially with Terrifier, the first one, a lot of them didn't even know what I looked like until weeks later. Like Samantha Scafidi, who played Victoria, had no idea for a month or so what I actually looked like outside of makeup until she showed up on set the same time I did one day. And she's like, and I was like talking to her, and she's like, "Oh, hi." I'm like, "It's me, David." She's like,
Yeah.
"Holy!"
It's like, wow, they did a great job.
It's like, wow, that's what you actually look like. I'm like, yeah, I look better in the makeup.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So David, you did mention fight scenes. So about fight
Yeah.
scenes, did you do your own stunts in the movies?
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty
Okay.
much. A few times, it might be a foot or an arm that comes in that's not mine because they would have to do a pickup or something like that. And it was just easier for like Damien to fill in. But a few times in part two, I had a relief pitcher, I would say, come in because I have horrible depth perception at times. And I just like some things were like, we only have one chance to make this effect work. We don't have a backup prosthetic. So I didn't want to risk fucking up the scene. You're like, oh god. So I'm like, I have horrible depth perception. I don't want to swing at this thing and not hit it the way it needs to be hit. And so, sometimes like Mike Levy or Jason would just put on the costume. So it might be their arm coming in for a swing on something like that. And I'm like, thank you. It's like, thank you very much.
Nice.
But that's about it. Everything else I've pretty much done myself. It's like I kind of pride myself on that. But I'm like, because I haven't had to do crazy over the top stunts. Usually that's the other actors that have to do that kind of stuff. But it's especially in part two, we actually had to hire some real stunt doubles to come in for a few things. We got a little bit more ambitious this time.
Yeah. We're gonna get to that very soon, though.
Yeah.
I definitely want to talk about Terrifier too. Yeah, I mean, how does it feel to be part of like a franchise like this? I mean, Terrifier, it's picking up.
It's nuts. I'm still getting used to it. It's still kind of sinking in a lot of ways because it's like, really, is this really happening? It's just because in a lot of ways, I still kind of feel like we're this underground cult phenomenon because like I still encounter a lot of people that never even heard of the film. So I'm like, you will.
Just wait.
Yeah. But it's funny. They might not have heard of it, but I can show them a picture of art. And they're like, I've seen him before. I'm like, yeah. You'll see more of him.
Yeah. I mean, at NJ HorrorCon back in September, you did Terrifier. Like your line was like the longest out of the entire celebrity area. Yeah.
Look at the welfare line. No, dude, it was great that day too, man. I seen that.
And it's not like there weren't big names there. I mean, like you had some of the Goonies there. You had, like the Tom Arnold and Billy Zane and stuff like that. But I'm
Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Yeah, it's like all John C. Hurley and all that. I mean, John O'Hare, like, like we had our Terrifier corner over there, and then there was everybody else, and it was. I think even at one point, Billy Zane comes over and like goes up to Damien. It's like, so tell me about this movie.
Yeah, he was intrigued. Yep.
I can picture him with the scarf, you know. And
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I really liked was you take the time to talk to all the fans, and that's what I really like. I mean, the line was long, but it's not like an assembly line. You took the time, and what I really liked, there was a woman with I think it was a golden retriever, and you got down with the retriever to take a picture with him. Oh, it was awesome.
Oh man, it's like Damien and I. It's like if you want to get a good, like, you know, long interaction with Damien and I, bring a dog with you. We are both the biggest puppy freaks. You admit. It's like anytime I see someone with a dog at a convention, I'm like, I have to pet the puppy.
Here, hold on, keep talking.
It's like I don't have a dog here in my little apartment, so I'm like, oh, look at it. Oh, it's Art.
He looks like Art. I was just thinking that. Yeah, this is Loki. So,
that's a great name.
Yeah.
Which variant is he?
He is a Shih Tzu Bichon. So his breed is teddy bear breed.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. All right, I'll let you go back to sleep.
Yeah. Poor guy. We have a cat in our apartment. You know, cats aren't the same as dogs. You can't just go hudgy budgy.
Yeah, you'll get a claw to the face.
Oh,
yeah,
we have so many, like, you know.
Oh, for sure. I'm scarred all over here. We rescued a cat last year. We named him Dexter after Dexter Morgan. So
that works perfectly for a cat. Oh my God, it works so well. It's like this cat, like 1 second you're petting her, the next second she's like, nah, nah, nah. And you're like, why? Why are you biting me? I'm showing you love.
So Dave, I wanted to ask you another question too about this, because I'm wondering, what does your family think of you portraying Art the Clown? Have they saw your movie?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, my dad's pretty religious and stuff like that. So he's like, wow, but he also likes horror films. That was wow.
Are they split down the middle?
Yeah. Well, see, my stepmom is very Southern Christian conservative. Very, I don't want to watch that stuff. It's like, she's like, that was just very, very church lady in that way. So she's not too thrilled about it. My dad likes it. He's happy. My sister is like, she's mentally physically handicapped, and at the time that I sent her the movie, she was living in a very religious group home. And then she's like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna watch the movie tonight." I'm like, "Oh no,
no,
no!"
It's like that slow motion.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's especially a lot of the people that were living with her might not really be able to handle the content matter there, and I'm like, oh no, I am so sorry if I.
But actually, you would be surprised, because I work with adults with disabilities. Mm-hmm. They're the biggest horror fans, though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Her roommates, except for maybe one or two, loved it. They're like, "Oh my gosh, David, he's great." Right. It's basically the woman that ran the place did not like it. She's like, "Wow, this is evil. Your brother,
you're evil.
We gotta go to church. You're all
heaven."
Well, the funny thing is, though, the real, the irony, kind of hypocrisy about that woman is, like, apparently she was stealing money from all the people that were living there. She was saying, from the families and stuff like that, were sending all this money in, and she was, we got my sister out of that situation. She's like, oh wow, yeah, you're just big, huge Christian, yet you're doing this. You're basically fleecing these poor people and their families. It's
I've dealt with that.
You need the Art the Clown treatment.
Definitely. Yeah.
It's always those, though. It's
so,
let me segue.
I had this really good idea. It just came to me. So earlier you mentioned that your family are engineers. They work for NASA, and it's like they probably, man, David didn't become one of us. He's an actor. So call Damien. I got an idea for Terrifier 3. At least one horror character goes into space.
Don't do it. Why, Brian?
Art in space.
Leprechaun, Jason. We don't need any more space.
What about he goes like deep sea diving, like something like that?
You can do that. With a
he kills someone, just gives them the bends.
Yeah. I have to ask also, and because we're kind of going all over the place, but when you see the fans at the conventions, do you get a lot of kids, or is it
Mhm.
more adults?
Yeah, we get a lot of kids, which always surprises me. And like one of the best stories at the time, she was about 3 years old when I was in Chicago. It was right after Terrifier came out, and this little girl, she was, oh my gosh, she was so adorable. She kept on coming over to me just constantly, and her parents were like, "Oh, she's seen the movie about 5 or 6 times already." I'm like, "What?" She's like, she loves art. And I saw her again this year, and when I was in Chicago, this past year in Chicago, and she's grown up so much. But she's like, "When's Terrifier 2 coming?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm so
Yes,
sorry. We want to get it out soon."
yeah, because
I love it though.
Josh, Savannah, adorable. You met her back in September. Josh, you want to talk about Mini Jason to the
Yeah.
listeners?
Yeah, I mean, she's in love with you, David. She got to actually talk with Damien, and Damien asked her, "Why do you love Terrifier so much?" And you know what her answer was? Because Art the Clown cuts people in half.
See, they're so honest.
Yeah,
That's what I love about the kids.
And he just had a kick out of that. I mean, he was
Yeah.
just so in awe. He got down on his knees. He took the time. Like I said, you guys
Mhm.
are just so great with the
Yeah.
fans. I mean,
Yeah,
it's-
it was like 10:30 at night.
Yeah.
We're vending. I'm tired. Josh was just there as you know, a ticket holder, and Savannah's outside, like in the information booth area. Damien's sitting down with her, and he had 2 people with him. And I'm just watching her, just keeping an eye on her because Josh was still inside. And he goes, "What was your favorite part of the film?" And she said, "When Art slice the girl," and the guy was recording it, and it was like
I
perfect
love it.
timing.
Oh, I love it. It's
yeah,
just,
it was great.
that's what's so funny too. I have noticed like little girls love art. Little boys are usually afraid of him, but little girls love art. I don't know
Yeah.
what it is. It's just, it's because I thought it would be the opposite.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, these little boys are little chicken shits. The little girls, they will come right up and just like, "I love him." I'm like, this is so wild. But yeah, Damien's great too with the kids and stuff like that. It's just like, it's so funny because Damien, like when we do the panel discussions, he usually hates public speaking and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, he's such a good people person though.
Yeah.
It's like, he's so good at just at coming with questions to ask people and engage people. It's like when we meet some of these different celebrities, I like to be around Damien because he's just so like, "Hey, tell me about this and this and this." I'm like, I'm over here going da 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 da. It's so weird, but he's so good with people, and I'm happy people notice that. It's just like because we're both fanboys ourselves, so like we both used to go to conventions. We've been on that side of the table, and so we know how meaningful it is to actually have interaction with the celebrities and stuff like that, instead of just like, "Oh, hi, okay." And I hate it when I get really busy and I basically have to do that, because I'm like, I'd rather take those moments with people and actually engage with them. It's like, I know Robert Englund is notorious for just taking time with people, and that's why his line is way out the door for miles.
Yeah.
It's just, but
I gotta tell you,
people
Dave,
do that.
I'm sorry
They'll
to cut you
stand
off.
there and wait for it. No, it's fine.
No, that's good. No, honestly, man, I really appreciate that because recently I started throwing organizing events. Now with horror personality, we had CJ Graham, the gentleman that played Jason.
Oh, CJ's great.
Oh yeah, dude, he took his time with everyone that came out to Blairstown, and I couldn't ask for a better opener. That was the first one I've ever organized for horror,
Good.
and it was just so successful for everybody all around.
Yeah.
I was real happy, man. And
Did Ruby come with him too? His wife?
No,
No, she didn't
Okay.
come. Yeah,
She's a sweetheart. I love
Yeah.
her.
yeah,
I met
They're
her
both. I
once
love
before.
CJ. He's a huge teddy bear. He is just like
yeah.
the kindest, sweetest guy, and he's huge.
Oh yeah, he's an oak
He
tree.
is huge. He makes me feel like little bitty. I'm like, oh my god.
And he's a ball
Just-
buster too. He likes to
Yeah.
bust
Oh,
balls.
yeah.
oh, he's great. He's great. We one time, he and like Eugene Clark and who else was on it? It was like 4 of us when we were up in Seattle. We did a panel together, and it was so much fun. We were just oh god. Oh, it was Jason Brooks, who was the other Jason from the fan films.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we were just having so much fun up there together.
He's a class act, man, CJ. And I was thinking about it because I remember that day at the HorrorCon too. You really took your time, and I do appreciate that too.
Yeah, we all do.
All of us, the whole Terrifier crew, you and Damien, and even Catherine.
Catherine,
It was very special that day. So again, Thank you for that.
Trick or Treat Studios.
You had to do it.
I had to do it. I'm sorry, Josh. Josh was
still waiting on mine.
He's crying and he was shedding a tear when I sent him the picture. How does it make you feel that you're now like awesome figure? I mean, this thing's huge.
Oh, that was like a goal of mine. That's been a lifetime goal, is to actually have an action figure of myself. I'm serious as a stroke. That's something I always wanted one day, is to have an action figure of a character I have played. And so I love it. It's just like, that made me so happy. Like, they Trick or Treat Studios sent me 2 of those figures right before Christmas. Yeah, and like the prototypes before they sent them out to everybody else. And I was like, I was so excited. I didn't keep them for myself. I sent them straight to my dad and my sister, because I was just like, this is your Christmas present this year, because I think this is the coolest thing ever. I'm so excited. I'm just like, I wanted, this is, my sister's like, why? I wanted a gift certificate to Amazon. I'm like,
oh my God. Jeez.
I'm like, do you not know how unique this is? Who all gets to say they have an action figure of their little brother? You know, like, plus it's not a cheap action figure either. It's just like, and it's so well made.
It is.
My gosh.
Yeah.
Detail. It looks.
I just wish
man.
like the one thing it's missing is the trash bag. I wish it came with the trash bag.
Yeah.
Oh, I made one, Brian.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I already have it waiting. I made a little trash bag for Art. You have to.
I talked to them about that, and like, you know, that there's, who knows, maybe they'll do some like accessory packs. You know, like they can use the trash bag to hold all the other accessories in it. So you have somewhere to put. That's why I said to them, I was like, yeah, you can do that. You can put the alternate hands and stuff like that in the bag. You can put all the different weapons in the bag and stuff like that.
The naked lady suit, maybe they'll make a little accessory for that.
Oh my God! Especially when part 2 comes out, there are going to be so many more options that they can do for that, you know, costume wise and stuff like that. So there's one costume especially I want to see added as a costume accessory pack or something like that I wear in part 2. Like, if people are observant enough when they watch the teaser trailer, they'll see it. And maybe 1 or 2 people have actually pointed it out to me. I'm like, oh yeah, I am wearing that.
Oh, I have to go back and watch it. All right.
That was one of my favorite things I got to wear. Is like, I didn't even know I was gonna wear that thing until they gave it to me that night on set, and I was just laughing my ass off. I'm like, this is a beautiful thing. I love this. This makes me so happy. It's like, I want to have a pop figure of this one day, just of this very costume, because this would be great.
Well, we're not going to tease people for long about Terrifier 2. We're going to get into that right after this little segment I got, Dave. It's called the 2-minute drill. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you a whole bunch of random questions, and you give me the David Howard Thornton answer. There's no right or wrong, and you got 2 minutes to do so. Now, nobody's ever completed this yet. But if you do, we got to get you some sort of reward. Maybe, I don't know, donate to a charity of yours or something like that, whatever it is.
Well, I think I got a good idea for charity. Whatever organization your sister is with, I'll make a donation.
I would say the cerebral palsy.
Okay.
Okay. We're gonna do that either way, Brian. Either way, but we're gonna get it. So let's see if Dave actually completes it right now. You ready? You got it.
Okay.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
Favorite horror icon?
Freddy Krueger.
Favorite slasher?
Freddy Krueger.
Weapon of choice?
Oh, I like my Cat of Nine Tails. I think that's a fun one.
Okay. To remake or not to remake?
That is the question. I would say don't remake.
Dark alley in New York City. Who do you want to have you back?
Art.
Best horror personality?
Oh, God. Robert Englund.
80s or 90s horror?
80s.
Favorite psychological horror?
Ooh, Silence of the Lambs.
Nice. Favorite horror movie quote?
Oh, Showgirls. Definitely Frank.
Scream 2.
Scariest movie you seen?
God. I would say probably The Omen shook me up a lot, oddly enough.
That's a good one. Best horror voice?
Best horror voice? John Kassir, Crypt Keeper.
Good. Finish the line. All work and no play?
Makes Jack a dull boy.
Universal monster of choice?
Oh, Dracula.
Wes Craven, John Carpenter.
Wes Craven.
Favorite Halloween?
Maybe 2 or 4.
Favorite Nightmare on Elm Street?
3. Dream Warriors.
Oh, solid. I love it. Best horror movie score or theme?
Jaws.
Most maniacal laugh award goes to?
Mark Hamill.
How would you want to die in a horror movie?
Painlessly.
If you could make any horror movie come to life, which would it be?
Oh my God, an Arkham series set in like the yeah.
Ultimate Scream Queen.
Ultimate Scream Queen. Lauren Lavera. She's gonna be awesome. Everybody's gonna love her.
Time.
Oh my God, the last
So
question.
close.
Right there.
I should have said that last bit.
Oh man. Okay. Fine.
Had to get
Last
talkative.
question. Horror movie crush.
Horror movie crush. Oh gosh, I would say probably Danielle Harris or Jennifer Love Hewitt.
And I'm with you on Daniel Harris. Yeah, Halloween 4, I'm a big fan of that. And I'm so happy, Dave, that you said Dream Warriors. It's my favorite.
I love it. I think that's where they really figured out to go. That's one of my favorite horror movies of all time. It's just I love Dream Warriors.
You know what favorite horror movie of Jimmy's is?
Don't go there. Come on, Brian.
Halloween Resurrection.
No, it's not Resurrection.
That movie.
he haunts me with it. No, I don't. Okay.
He just acquired it on
Dangertainment, Brian. But it's funny because in the background, because I like playing horror movies as we're recording, Dream Warriors is in the background right now. It's so funny that you said that. On VHS, that is.
It's great. It's a great one. Kills in that are amazing.
Yeah, they are.
Oh, dude, and for its time too, like even like the makeup that they had with Freddy with the drugs, the needles in the hands and stuff like that. A hell of a job. It brought the series, the franchise back. Not to say 2 was bad. 2 was its own beast, but like it brought back to the original story.
Plus the gutsy thing killing off Nancy like that. I was like, whoa.
Oh, blew me away, man. I just wish that part 4, the remaining warriors would have lasted a little bit longer, when they did that. They got killed first 10 minutes. Sucks. But we're gonna switch gears here. We don't want everybody waiting so long. They waited all this time. Terrifier 2. Okay, it's expected to drop this year. Talk to us about this film. What could the fans expect, Dave?
Oh my God! Finally! This has been such a long time coming because originally we wanted to get this beast out like fall of 2020, but then COVID screwed everything up. So it's just like, oh man. But at the same time, COVID kind of helped us because it gave us more time, and so Damien was able to take that time to really flesh out 2 of our big kill scenes in the movie because we had not filmed them yet. And so, like, one of them I will say, because I'm saying this, the kills in this are bigger, bloodier than the first one. We went full on out with it. Okay. We're just like, let's try to top that hacksaw scene. And I think this one kill scene we did will do it. Just with sheer brutality.
I can't wait.
It's horrible. It's hard. It was we started filming this one scene right before the pandemic closed us down, and we had a crew member who's a huge horror fan that actually had to excuse himself from set because he's like, I'm getting nauseous, and we hadn't even got to the real part of the kill yet. We're just starting. He's like, oh geez, I'm getting woozy. And that's not even the part of the kill we're using now. We're like, well, we have more time now. Let's go back to the drawing board. And so we revamped that whole entire scene. And so it was supposed to take 2 days, ended up basically taking 5 days to film because it's so prosthetic heavy. Oof, it's just Damien went full on. He lost his mind with the prosthetics in this. He just threw everything except for maybe the kitchen sink into this kill scene and just like, oh my, he does this, Art does this, Art does this. It's just not like just a simple kill at all. It's basically 5 or 6 minutes of me just eviscerating somebody and just all kinds of crazy Art the Clown ways. And Damien showed it to his mom during Christmas, and his mom's the one that got him into horror at an early age, so she's a horror person. And she's like, I don't know who you are. I did not raise you to do this. Wow. And we've shown it to, because Damien likes to get feedback from people, the fans and, people in the business. So he showed it to a few people, especially our friend Heather, who does a lot of, hosts a lot of the panel discussions at, different conventions and stuff like that. And she's a huge horror fan. She started crying halfway through it
What?
because she was so happy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
She's
man.
just like, it moved. She even wrote a big, huge thing on Facebook about it. She's like, oh my gosh. She's like, thank you. Thank you for bringing back the slasher back to a slasher movie. It's like, this is how they're supposed. And I think if we don't get an R rating for this, it's because of this scene, definitely, because it's like this is hard R, if not X, when it comes to like.
Oh man, yeah, you're teasing us here.
Yeah.
Is there anything you can unveil to us, like even a behind the scenes story you can share with us about Terrifier?
Yeah, God, there's so many things that happen behind the scenes. Oh my God, but it's like, I mean, I will say it's definitely a bigger movie all around. It's like over 2 hours long. It's
nice.
We kind of worried about the time on that because we're like, oh God, it's a long movie. Maybe, and we tried to cut it down as much as we could, but like, yeah, if we cut it down anymore, it's gonna leave out major parts of the movie. So we're like, oh well, people are used to a 3-hour long Avengers movie, so hey,
why not?
People sat through
Josh will be in his glory.
Midsummer, and so it's like.
So how does it feel? Like, sorry to cut you off. Like, I was going back to what Heather had mentioned, and she's right. The majority of the horror films in today's generation are bad. The characters are just blah. I feel like after I was late to the game and watching Terrifier, but when I watched it, I was like, wow, this is great. And this is like how I felt like I was when I was introduced to Jason or Freddy. Like, we have a new character that could have a nice franchise.
I think what it is just like so many of these other characters they've tried to create. There's just no charisma behind them. It's just another guy wearing a mask that cocks his head like Michael Myers would do, and that's about it. They might have some kind of little quirk where they whistle or hum or something like that, but that's about it. And it's just like there's no personality there. And I think that's what has drawn people to Art, is like he is those best aspects of all those other slashers that came before him, and he has that personality that Freddy and Chucky had, but he has that viciousness of like Pinhead and Leatherface, but he has the silent nature of Jason and Mike Myers, and he has those creative kills like Jason has, especially.
The kills
Freddy
are amazing.
When Irene first watched it, it was the opening, like the diner scene, that really got her. When you're just sitting there, just looking at the girls.
Oh yeah.
She was like, oh hell no.
And, that's such a real world occurrence too.
Yeah.
Especially here in New York, I've seen that happen on the trains with people. I've had people do that to me. I mean, I remember like one time it was on 4th of July. I was coming back from Coney Island with my friends, and we're sitting on the train. Like two of my friends are sitting across from me, and my buddy Chad sitting next to me, and then like this drunk guy sits right next to me, and he just turns to me, and he's just like an inch away from my face and just like glaring at me, and I'm just like, and I'm just trying not to look at him, and I'm just kind of like, and I see my friends across from me going,
especially coming from Coney Island.
And I just, I'm like, sup? I'm like, that's how I am. It's like if I'm in an intense situation, I try to diffuse it with like being funny. So I was like, hey, what's up? And he's just like, yo, are you Irish? Irish soccer shirt on. I'm like, yeah, I'm part Irish. He's like, fuck yeah. And he just cracks open a beer and he's like, cheers. You want one? I'm like, oh, no, I'm fine. Okay. But it was just like, but he just looked so pissed off at first. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
That answer is like, goddamn, what should I say? Yes or no? It's like,
Josh, when we were at NJ HorrorCon, did David see you in your art costume?
Yeah, he did.
I did the full thing. Okay.
Yeah,
did you do like the mannerisms?
Yeah, I think I was doing some stuff. We actually did a fighting pose scene.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Let me tell you, Dave, when we were at NJ HorrorCon in November and Josh dressed up as Art, it was like everyone just stopped what they were doing and just flocked to him. He had a Christmas hat on, and there was like a Santa area, so he
had
sat
people
on Santa's
lining
chair,
up to take pictures on my lap.
It was great.
It was awesome.
And so Josh entered the costume contest, and I was thrilled that he won like overall. He got a sick NJ HorrorCon trophy. It was down to him and this other guy, and the category was best entertainment. And Josh didn't win, and I was like, "What the?" But then they said, "And best overall is Horror Daddy." I was like, "Yeah." He had the crowd.
That was awesome.
I'll tell you a funny story. So I told Josh to work the judges, and they had a celebrity judge up there, Danny Pintoro from Who's the Boss, Cujo.
Yeah, I love Danny. He's awesome guy.
He's honking the horn. Josh didn't know who he was, and I was like, "That is so awesome."
Danny's a huge Terrifier fan too.
Is he? Okay.
Oh yeah, he's in love with Damien too.
Oh, okay. That's why you won, Josh. No, Josh.
No, like, awesome.
Josh is just so. It's like watching art come to life, like out of the TV.
Yeah, like this.
When I went to go visit him and his family for my birthday, he dressed up as Art and had the birthday cake.
Yeah, I gave him a birthday cake as Art.
It was great. My wife loves.
Fun though? It's so fun. It's so freeing because you can do whatever you want.
So I can imagine how you feel, David, because even like when I get it on, it's just you don't need to talk, which is awesome.
No.
You just get to do fun mannerisms.
No, it's like
I love it.
I never talk when I'm in the costume because I like to give people that experience, that whole like it just breaks the illusion. It's more fun to be able to just mess with people without talking, and it's just I have scared grown men. I had when I was up at Astronomicon, my security guy, big, huge mountain of a man. We're in the elevator, and he has a huge fear of clowns. I had him backed into a corner, and I was just slowly raising my horn towards him. He's like, "No, please, man, please." He almost started to cry. I was like, "This is amazing." Oh my God. It's like, dude, when you show me you're scared, I'm going to do this more to you because this is funny as hell. You're a big, huge mountain of a man. You could crush me with one hand. And you're over here. Like, dude, you've been hanging out with me this whole entire time, and now you're afraid of me. This is hilarious, dude. It's just me. I love that. But that's the thing, is like when you play those kind of characters, you mess around with the public and they let you. They love it. They eat it up. I discovered that when I did Grinch, because I sometimes do press stuff, and I one time did one of those things in here in New York. I had to do it at the Minskoff Theater where the Lion King is, and the offices for our company were just a few blocks away. And they're like, "Oh, we can get you a car." I'm like, "No. I want to walk the streets of New York as the Grinch."
Oh, nice.
And I was just fucking with everybody. And, you usually don't want to fuck with people on the streets of New York because you can get shot.
Yeah.
People don't like that. And I was just going up behind people and just messing with them, just like, "Hi, or like I would go by people eating outside, and if they had bread on the table, I would grab their bread and start eating it. They're like, "Hey!" I could do whatever I wanted to. It was wonderful. I loved it. It was like, I want, like, one of my other appearances, they had Santa where we had our own lines of people, and my line was longer than Santa's. Like, "Hey, old man!" And I went over and I was like, "I gotta see if this is real." And I went over and pulled his beard, and he's like, "Oh, that is real." Sorry. But he was loving it. Everybody was saying, it was like, that's what I love. It's like when I've done Joker, when I've done Art, when I've done Grinch, you can just mess around with it. They love it. It's funny how playing like a villain like that, people let you get away with anything.
Yeah. Dude, I'm telling you, man, it's like, but like you just said, you're free.
Yeah.
It's very liberating. Very liberating.
So
I can go up and talk to girls I usually wouldn't talk to.
Right? You might get further. Who knows?
Yeah. I have.
It's like, wait a minute, no, could you put the costume back on?
Yeah. It's like in real life, I'll get
like, hold on, wait a minute. No, it's like good foreplay. No.
Yeah. It's like, wow, I wish I knew this always worked.
So, David, we know that nothing scares Art the Clown, but what scares David Howard Thornton? What terrifies you?
I've always, I don't like the dark, like pitch black dark, like a void. It's not really dark. It's a dark void I don't like. So I can't have a closet open when I'm trying to sleep at night, I have to have the closet door closed because I don't like looking to a dark void because I just always imagine eyes looking back at me or something like that. Or it was like like basements, going down to a dark basement. Here I am, 42 years old. I still become like Shaggy from Scooby Doo. And I'm like, I know there's not a monster down here, but the mind plays tricks on you in the dark like that. It's like, and the woods at night can be horrifying. I was a camp counselor for 5 years, and still being out in the woods by yourself at night is just because you sometimes see eyes looking at you, animals and stuff like that. And you're like, it's just so that's what gets me is the dark.
Nice.
And tornadoes too get me because I was in a tornado when I was a kid. That was not a lot of fun. Yeah, a big F4 that went through Huntsville destroyed my church that I was at and my elementary school. So it's like I was lucky, like because we didn't have a warning go out until like minutes after the tornado even went through the town. It was like so like we only knew because I was doing handbell lessons. We only knew because our associate pastor, he was also a Hempsey driver, so he got the call from the Hempsey guys because I knew where he was. They're like, get those kids down to a basement right now. There's a tornado coming down on you guys. It's about a mile away. We're like, oh God. So like we literally like they were doing construction work, so the construction workers were already down there because they saw it coming, and they all got us in there. And as soon as I hit the ground, my mom threw herself on top of me. That's right when the tornado hit the church. And it's like and this construction workers are down there trying to hold the doors shut and everything. It was scary. We got buried in there.
Oh wow,
scary.
Oh, God.
We had a gas leak, and so we were all like we couldn't get out. And my godfather was our handbell director, our choir director, and all that kind of stuff. And he's like, well, why don't we sing and try to keep the kids calm? And so I was like 9 years old at the time. He's like, why don't we sing and I'll keep it calm. So we started singing, and all of a sudden the doors open up. This guy that had been out in the tornado, covered in blood and everything like that, he dug us out of that basement because he had heard kids singing down there.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
And yeah, we got out of that basement, and like shortly after we got out of the basement, there was an explosion down there. So it was like
we saved just in time,
So
man.
thank God you got out.
yeah, it was scary. That was a scary night. So I kind of have a little bit of PTSD when it comes to those kind of situations. So that's kind of why I'm glad I live up here in New York now, because we don't really get tornadoes. So like when they get tornadoes here, they're not tornadoes like what we got in Alabama. Because like Huntsville is like one of the worst parts of the United States for tornadoes because we live in a valley. And they can just literally just drop out of the sky. The sky's blue, and all of a sudden, boom, tornado. It's scary.
Yeah,
so
I wouldn't want to
scary.
live there. No, hell no.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So many times I would wake up at like 2:00 in the morning. Tornado sirens are going off. We have to go run downstairs.
I'll be paranoid all the time.
Yeah, I
like,
would be too.
Like New York got me already. Like when I was over there, like looking, because you got to be on these cues over there now. Tornadoes too. Be like this. I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna be spinning around myself.
So David, if you could play any other killer in a horror franchise, who would it be?
Oh God. I mean, I think Freddy would be the most fun, but at the same time, I would never want to do that because I know I would never compare to Robert Englund.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
No one.
We had this discussion. We had right, Brian. I was like, you know what? It's tough because Robert Englund is Robert Englund, and Brian's like, you got to give somebody a shot. Man, I'll take you over Kevin Bacon. No offense to Kevin. Okay. People talking about it. I have a little problem with Kevin because Kevin needs to come out to the Friday the 13th and address the fans that we've been waiting for him. But anyway, that's besides the point. But you, Dave, I'm telling you, I will take you over Kevin Bacon. I
will tell you who would be really good as Freddy. And he's actually played a younger version of Robert in a movie before. Is Mike Levy, who was the exterminator and Terrifier that I decapitated.
That's right.
He does. He actually looks like Robert. He does a lot of his mannerisms and stuff like that, and he can do a really good Freddy voice too. And I was like, you really wouldn't have to change the makeup too much for Mike. You would be such.
You say, Mike, you're ugly. You got to change the makeup. No makeup needed. No makeup.
Like the bone structure wise, Robert very similar facially, and it's like I think if they're gonna do it, that's how they should do it. I mean, I think even Robert would be like, yeah, Mike can handle it. So
Nice.
That's been one guy
yeah.
I've been dying to meet is Rob. Hopefully one day,
Yeah.
Rob. But yeah, if there's ever,
I briefly met him at my very first convention, and that's when Damien and I were babies at the time, so we're just very. We like your work, and this is our movie, and you're awesome. And it's like we were with him down in Orlando like back in October, but like the only time we could have talked to him was when we were in the green room together. But like we didn't want to bother him because he was trying to just decompress for a while. But like we don't need to go over and bother him and stuff like that. But my cousin was there, and he brought his daughter, and they actually got to do a photo op with him. My cousin was like, "Oh my God, he's awesome." I'm like, "Yeah," that's what everybody tells me. Everybody tells me he's just an awesome dude, and he takes his time with people.
Yeah.
He does the fun photo ops with people too, which is good. I like to see. And this guy's been doing it for like 30 years, and he's still boom going in there. He's not. I'm not going to name names, but I've seen other celebrities that do their photo ops, and they just do the same pose. There's no hi, how are you doing? None of that kind of stuff. There's no real interaction. It's just like they're just going through the paces. It's like point, point,
Right. Yeah.
point, point.
Yeah.
It's just like, man, that's and like when you know that you paid money for that photo op, and there's your opportunity to get a photo with them, and that's all they do is like, we're gonna point at each other. Okay, next. Next. I mean, I still sometimes hate it when I have to fly through the photos, but at least I try to do something different with every single person.
Yeah.
Because it keeps it fresh for me too.
Right. Yeah.
And I love it when people have their own ideas and they come in and I'm like, yes, let's do this. Like when I was in Chicago, there was a guy that was dressed as Shaggy, and I told him like the day before, I was like, I am going to jump up in your arms, and we're going to do that. And that's what we did. It's such a great photo because we're both like, you're like, it's like, oh, it was so much fun. I love those kind of moments. And
so this will kind of segue into my next question. It's not actually a two-parter because I was thinking about it. So when you would attend a convention as just a regular before Terrifier, when you were younger, who did you fanboy over? Like, who did you like? You were excited to meet?
Oh gosh, I mean, like. Like I said, I'm a big comic book geek and stuff like that, and movie geek. So I'm like basically anybody. It's like I still want to meet Mark Hamill. That's who I really want to meet one day. It's just like but I got to meet back in the day. I wasn't a huge Star Trek fan, but my dad was, and my best friend was, and it was like right when my grandmother was about to pass away. My best buddy brought me to a Star Trek convention back in Huntsville. And I got to meet Scotty.
Oh, nice.
So that was, and he was really cool. He was really cool guy. So I was like, that was really cool. And plus I liked him too. So I was just like, oh yeah. And I was able to get my dad an autograph from him and stuff like that. So those kind of moments.
When I go to conventions, even though I've been going off and on for the past like 10 years, I still get starstruck where I don't really talk that much. My wife, total opposite. She's a social butterfly. She talks to them. Like she gets to know where they're living, what kind of house they have, what they like to have for breakfast. And I'm just like, you can make it out to Brian,
I get to say, I still like that. Like when I prefer someone just introduce me to them instead of me just going up and like, hi. I like to have a general, interaction with them. But a few times I've just gone up and I just got to say hi to someone, like Frank Welker when I was at a convention with him.
Wow.
And I have one of my, as y'all probably know, I have like one of my photos on my tables of Scooby-Doo with art. And so I signed it because, since I do voiceover work, he was one of the ones that it was one of my big inspirations as a kid because I do all the animal sounds like he does all those animal sounds. That's where I learned a lot of that from. So I went and I made one of those Scooby-Doo ones out to him. And I'm like, this, thank you for inspiring my career, blah, 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 blah. And he was just the sweetest guy. And it's just like, I was really fanboying over him. I really fanboy over a lot of the voiceover actors.
Okay. So we are going to be coming into the convention season. If you're allowed to say, have you been booked for any upcoming conventions this year?
Yeah. I can't remember all of them. I think I have about at least 10 of them already scheduled for this year.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Great. Yeah, I start my first one in February. I do a Mad Monster Party down there in North Carolina, which I'm very looking forward going back to. I'm doing Astronomicon again this year. Doing Days of the Dead out in Los Angeles. I'm even going to Manchester, England for the Love of Horror.
Oh,
Wow.
nice.
This is I've gone up to Canada a few times, but this is my first time getting outside the continental, the North America, I guess. Yeah. So for this, which is going to be cool. So I'm COVID has inhibited a lot of that, especially getting outside the country. So I'm like, because we have fan base all over the world, and that's what I would really love to do is actually travel to some of these other countries. Like, we've been trying to do this one in Germany for like 3 years, but every year COVID or something like that or filming comes up. So I'm like, I want to get out there to Germany. I want to go to Italy. I know we have everywhere down in like Chile and Brazil.
You got it down. See, the accent is coming natural now.
Yeah.
Chile, Brazil,
Chile, Cuba, and I'd love to go out to Japan and all that. It's just, especially Japan. I've always wanted to go to Japan.
Yeah.
I think that would be awesome because they have such a unique fan culture out in Japan. I learned that from one of my friends when I was touring. He had done the tour of I think My Fair Lady out there, and he was just in the chorus. And there were so many people that would come to the shows there that had books about just him. Like they had made scrapbooks.
Wow.
Like, and he was just in the chorus. It was like the fan culture out in Japan is a totally different thing than what we see in the United States. And I would just love to see what that's like. And plus, I love Japan anyway. It's like, the culture, everything is just like, oh.
Yeah.
Plus, I'm a huge video game nerd, so I'm like,
forget it.
I'm like,
Well, I'm 12.
Yeah.
Dave, I got to talk conventions here. Wait, hold on, guys. Seriously. Let's talk about something real quick that's not so terrifying, Dave, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Your melodious tones. Because I know, you know what I'm talking about. Okay. There's a video out there. If it hasn't gone viral already, I don't know what it's waiting for. I don't know what's going on. You singing Bohemian Rhapsody, okay? At the NJ HorrorCon, Scarioke, hosted by, what's his name? That we
Coogan.
got, Dishes Are Done,
Keith
man.
Coogan,
Keith
yeah.
Coogan. Dave, you're a natural, man. I mean, is this the theater background? I mean, what is it? Is that your go-to song?
Yeah. I mean, I was a singer before I was anything else. I have a 4.5 octave range. That's why I wanted to do Broadway and all that kind of stuff for the longest time. But I did off Broadway and I did Broadway tours, but I never have done Broadway yet, knock on wood. But I'll get there. But yeah, I come from a family of musicians and singers. So it's like, we have the teachers and engineers, but most of those same people were also artistic in their own ways too. They, like my dad's a singer. My maternal grandmother used to tour with like groups back in the day, back in the 40s, before she had my mom. She gave up that life to be a mom. She was supposed to be like this one music group wanted her to be their main singer. It was like a very popular music group at the time. And so I like to, and then she became a teacher. So I like to think I went the opposite route of my grandmother. I went from being a teacher to being a performer. So it's in my blood.
There was bras, panties, dollar bills, everything was on that stage.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put you on the spot. Okay. Bless us, Mr. Thornton. Quick excerpt from one of your favorite tunes, karaoke. I don't know if you're up for it.
I don't know if I can because I have a roommate that's probably about to try to go to sleep right now.
Time to wake up.
No, she's supposed to be doing a podcast. That's what she's supposed to be doing in the other room. So I don't want to sing too much. But,
I'm upset that we left early.
I can't believe I left.
I mean, I was tired. I don't know how you had the energy. I mean, I was tired just being a vendor. You're out there talking to hundreds of people all day. But I think Jimmy warmed the crowd up a little bit because he had two girls out there just
they were going at it with
his melodious tones.
Sugar on.
Oh I know exactly who those two girls are too. they were a little bit wild that night.
Mm-hmm.
As some of my friends and I can attest to, they're a little bit crazy. We're like, oh boy, they had a little bit to drink.
Well, one too many. I mean, hey, listen, they were having a good time, and it made the song better. My singing wasn't like yours, Mr. Thornton. I'll tell you right
I
now.
would sing, but like I'm one of those like when I sing, I have to project, and I don't want to ruin.
No. Listen, I completely understand.
So
wait a minute. little extra in the
we're-
background on the podcast.
While we're talking about music, so is Queen your favorite rock band, or do you have a favorite band? Like,
Yeah. Queen's my favorite. It's just like they're just fantastic. I'm big into the oldies, but I mean, also I love the Beach Boys a lot.
Mhm.
It's just like that's something I grew up on all that kind of music, the
Oldies
oldies,
and stuff,
you know,
yeah.
the 50s, 60s,
Bobby
70s,
Darin.
80s
Yeah,
music. Yeah, it's especially I have an appreciation for a lot of 80s music now more than I did when I was. It's like when my sister was listening to it, I didn't like it as much because it was my sister's music. I was like, this is crap. Now I'm just like, oh my god, it's so good.
Compared to what we got nowadays, you know.
Yeah. So I'm like, you know, coming from a musical family, I appreciate true music artists and stuff like that. Ooh, fun story. Speaking of that, this is a fun little tidbit of knowledge. Like when I first moved here to New York, I was doing an off Broadway show called Soul Searching. It was a rock opera, and we would perform at different venues all over the city, especially down there in the Village, Lower East Side, and stuff like that. It was about 2007, and sometimes we would have opening acts for us or stuff like that, or other people, you know, just be a string of different things that night. And one night there was this girl that was playing piano, this blonde girl named Stephanie playing the piano before us, that played her own songs, sang her own music and everything like that. She was amazing. And we hung out with her afterwards, and she loved our show. We got beers and stuff like that, just hung out and stuff like that. And it didn't dawn on me until about 3 or 4 years ago. I was talking to my buddy who was in the show with me, and we're like, "Oh, remember that girl, Stefan?" Wait a minute. Holy shit, dude. That was Lady Gaga.
Wow.
Yeah. It was like, yeah, we're like, yeah. That was. Holy it was Gaga before she was Gaga. It was about a year or so before. Yeah. It was about a year or so before she really made it. And it was like, oh wow. Well, it's just such a small world. It's like one of those things. It's like here, you know, basically Lady Gaga opened for Art the Clown way back in the day.
You know, hey, listen, you know, that's funny too, man. And you know, you just never know. You know, who's gonna be who's gonna blow up, and
never know. But then I was just like, my God, it's before she did all the persona. It was just her singing her music, and I was like, damn, she is good. That is talent there. I'm like, that is real talent. So I was like, I have appreciation for artists like that do play their own music and write their own songs and actually perform in their own concerts. Because I always hear that whole thing, and it's the old man in me coming out. I was like, the latest performers that like just can their music and lip sync in their concerts. People are paying like $200 for a freaking ticket.
Have like 13 songwriters and 20 producers.
And they're like, well, it's hard to dance and sing at the same time and do all these shows. I'm like, yeah, it is hard. You know who does that? Broadway performers. They do it 8 shows a week. When I was doing Grinch, Stephen Carl would do sometimes 12 shows a week doing the Grinch, which is doing this horrible stuff to his voice, that he'd still do it. And he's having to do that in a full fur costume, heavy makeup, all that. Yeah, true artists can do it. True performers can do it.
Yeah, speaking of, I got another question just came to mind. You're talking about Broadway. What's your favorite Broadway play that you've seen?
Oh God, I would say my top 3, because they're equal in their own way. Is like I love Jesus Christ Superstar, Phantom of the Opera, and Les Miserables.
I saw both of the Phantom and Les Mis. Yeah. Did you see King Kong?
Good. I did. My friend Jen was the understudy for Andero in that.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and so I got to go see it when she performed as Anne one night, and I got the whole backstage tour. They showed me how Kong operated. That was such a visually awesome show. The puppetry that they, oh my God,
I loved it. Yeah,
I loved it. I really enjoyed it. I was like, because I used to work tech as well back in the day when I did theater, and so I have an appreciation for all that kind of stuff. I like to see how things work. So I was thrilled that they took me on the backstage tour and everything. They showed me everything. They showed me how to operate Kong and all that. And there's like the guy that did the voice of Kong came with us too. And I was like, because he would also operate Kong while also doing all that kind of stuff.
Oh, nice.
Awesome. I love that kind of stuff. It's just, I need to go to more shows. It's just,
if you ever get the chance to, Evil Dead the musical.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
That's what I hear. I love Matilda. Matilda was great. Like one of our old Cindy Lou's was one of the original Matildas when it was on Broadway, and so that was a fun show to see. That's good music in that. Yeah, I still, yeah, I need to see Harry Potter still too.
I can't get my wife to take me there.
It's just, COVID's the hard thing right now. It's just like, I want to go see Music Man because Hugh Jackman's doing that, but like my friend Lance is in it, and he's in the chorus, and I did Music Man years ago back when I was a senior in high school too, and I was like, oh God, I would love to see that. I'm like, I love the old school musicals especially.
Mm-hmm.
So there's something.
Yeah, the one play I'm dying to see is To Kill a Mockingbird. I've been wanting to see that.
Yeah.
Fun story about that. My grandmother was actually good friends with Harper Lee growing up.
Get out, really?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, back in Alabama. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, she had a signed first edition copy of To Kill a Mockingbird that she made out to my grandmother. Called her Billy.
I hope it's still in your family. Is it still in the family?
I don't know where it is. I thought my aunt got it, and I talked to my aunt. She's like, I thought your mom had it. I'm like, no.
Somebody got it, and I got to get to the bottom of it.
I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, it's like that's especially growing up in Alabama, that was like a must read for the schools.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You had to read To Kill a Mockingbird. And it's like, it's such a good book. Such a good story. It's a story that it's a story that's still relevant today.
Yeah. So your grandmom was friends with Harper Lee. Did she ever meet Truman Capote by any chance?
No, because that was way after.
Okay.
This is like when they were kids. So
okay, gotcha. Okay.
Well, actually, my grandmother's little sister was the same age as Harper, so that's how they knew each other. But just like they would all hang out together and stuff. That's like cool. That. So it's like, nice. It's like because she based Atticus off of her father, Judge Lee. So like when my family went to go see the movie when it first came out, they're like my grandmother freaked out. She was like, oh my God, he is that is exactly her father on screen. It's like, so it's,
awesome story.
I don't want to segue. There's no real segue from that though. But you know what? I had to get back to. I forgot the question earlier was Terrifier 2 behind the scenes, just so we can see. I know we're gonna rewind that a little bit because
people probably want to hear about Terrifier 2 still.
I want to talk about anything that you can talk about behind the scenes with anything you can unveil, any cool stories from filming it.
Oh, we had some one of the places we shot in was in Philly at the Fright Factory, which is this big huge haunted house. Yeah. That place is we had a lot of paranormal stuff happen there, which was kind of cool. Like this one night we had all these instances happen, and it's like it started off with our DP George. He's like trying to set up a shot and everything. And I'm sitting at the side, everybody else is just hanging tight while he's setting up the shot, and he just starts, Phil, move out from the camera, stop walking in front of the camera. I'm trying to set it. He's like, we're like, George, no one's walking in front of the camera. It's like, no, I keep seeing someone walk in front of the camera. It's pissing me off. I'm like, George, no one is. Phil's way over there talking to Damien right now. It's like, no one's been walking in front of the camera. It's like, I'm scared, guys. I'm like, Well, then later on, like, there's a scene with Lauren and I, and there's a door behind us that's open that's not supposed to be open. And so they're like, hey, can one of y'all go close the door? And so both Lauren and I are getting up to go close the door, and the door just closes itself. We're like, thank you. And there's this one room in the haunted house that has all these dolls in it that they use in the haunt. And it's the freakiest thing because how this place is, it's built, it has all these different power grids. So they turn on the power for each area, and this area was turned off. And in this room, there's this one doll that's on a swing, and it's this little creepy little girl doll, and it sings and does this like, come play with me, and stuff like that. It's the creepiest thing. Well, we're filming in a different room, so we only had the power turned off and turned on in the room area that we were in. So the power was not on anywhere else in there. And all of it is about 3:00 in the morning. All the cast and crew is on set. And a few rooms away, we hear all of a sudden that creepy music start up.
Oh my God.
And the dolls start singing and saying, come play with me.
No, come on.
The thing is motion activated too. Yeah. And we're just like, oh hell no.
That's
because that's the ghost children freaked me out. That stuff creeps me out. It's
I
like
hate dolls as it is. Oh God.
ghosts don't, but dolls and ghosts like that, kid ghost, zing.
Way.
And so of course we told the whole them that ran the building all that stuff, like, oh yeah, we have that stuff happen all the time, especially that room. That room's the most haunted room, the doll room.
What?
Yeah, it's like they said, oh, that stuff happens all the time. We cannot explain it because there's no power going to that room, and yet that thing will start up by itself at times and just do that. And, it's like, and it has to be activated by something walking in front of it too, so that's even creepier.
So you guys, how long were you guys there for?
A few weeks. Like, yeah.
Did you get a preach afterward? Did you bless your house when you went home?
Yeah. Oh boy. I mean, we have stuff that happens in my house all the time too. So it's just like, I'm used to it. So it doesn't really scare me as much as it scares other people. But especially if I know it's not trying to hurt me, I'm like, yeah, well, it's just trying to make.
Just come on, let's go. We're going on the train. Help me out here.
Yeah. So that was kind of cool.
That was crazy, man. Honestly, you got to bring the ghost hunters in there.
Yeah.
Check that place out. I would love to sleep there overnight, get some freaking tests going.
Oh, yeah.
Is there anything you can unveil to us, to the listeners, the viewers, the handful that we have about Terrifier 2?
Like, do you know, like, if they're going to get a new trailer soon?
Yeah.
Yeah. Once we know the date, like, Damon's just doing the finalize. I actually may contact him to see what's going on right now, but I need my update. But last I heard, he was doing the final edits. We just got our color correction back and all that, so he's doing the final video effects and visual effects and all that kind of stuff, audio, just the small tweaks here, and then he's going to start shopping around hopefully this month to distribution. And so once we have distribution set up, then we can finally announce the date, and that's when we'll release another trailer, I think.
Gotcha. 10 years, Dave. 10 years from now, where?
I know. It feels like it.
No,
it feels like it's been 10 years trying to get this thing out.
It feels like the question. It does feel like 10 years since. Yeah. Dude, come on, we got to let it roll. COVID, damn it. COVID messed everything up, Dave.
Stupid COVID. But at least we're not like Morbius, where we had it all in the can before the whole pandemic, and we're not choosing just to keep delaying it. It's like, no, we want to release this beast. We're just. Takes a while.
It's true. But it's going to get there almost soon, very, very soon. But not soon enough for us, for the fans. 10 years from now, where is David Howard Thornton?
Oh, boy. I'm hoping, a warmer climate. Not hell, but.
One of those islands that you can't pronounce.
Yeah. But, probably doing Terrifier 5 or something like that, or working on other films, something like that. I'd love to be on set of a Batman series. That would be great.
That'd be nice. Yeah, I mean, play the Joker.
Oh God, yeah. I would love to play Joker, Riddler, or Scarecrow.
Oh yeah, okay.
All of them.
So if you had, another question.
Or the Creeper. The Creeper would be fun too.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, the Creeper. So if you had a choice of any leading lady today or, in years past, who would you like to work with?
That's a good question. Leading lady. Trying to think. I think I would have loved to have worked with Christina Ricci, because she was like always a big crush of mine growing up.
Yeah.
I think she would have been fun to work with. But like, I think also, Jennifer Lawrence would be a lot of fun to be on set with. She seems like she's just a very down to earth kind of fun person. So I like people like that. They're just fun, and like we've been lucky with how we've cast both films. Like, everybody has been so much fun to be with on set. We all I freaking love Lauren Lavera, who plays Sienna in part 2, and I think everybody's gonna fall in love with her. But she was such a fun person to work with. So it's like I will work with her any day. And I'm so glad that our lives are now entwined like this now. It's like she's fantastic. Samantha Scafidi, great. Jenna, great. Catherine, great. All of them, everybody in both casts. There's no one I complain about. It's such a great group of people to work with.
Is there any last thing you want to give the fans, or if you want to plug your social media or anything?
Yeah.
Fans want to follow you.
Well, in addition to Terrifier, I'm also working on another film with a lot of the Terrifier family called Stream, not Scream. I always like to,
Stream.
it's like stream, like you stream stuff
Yeah.
online, and we have a lot of big names from the horror business in it. Dee Wallace, Jeffrey
Wow.
Combs, Tony Todd, Danielle Harris, Tim Reed.
If you can hear me, you froze, Dave. I think you said Tony Todd's name one time too many. I was like, Dave, is he looking in the mirror?
Oh my God! Oh
No, no, come on.
oh my God! That'll be
There's
great.
your back.
I'm back. Oh, yeah. Tony's in it. All these people. It's a great. You can look up the cast online.
When is that supposed to
Can
come
you hear
out?
me? Okay, good. Oh, hopefully this year. We're so almost finished with it. They just did a big Indiegogo campaign just to get a little bit.
Yeah, I
extra
thought
money
I
for
heard
it.
about
So
it.
that it should be coming out
I
soon.
just
So
backed.
yeah.
I'm a backer on it.
Oh, thank you,
Nice.
thank
Yeah,
you.
I did the T-shirt one, so looking forward to it,
Awesome.
man.
It's gonna be awesome. It's awesome. Just being on set with all these people was just like amazing. I'm like, oh my God, I grew up watching you guys. So it's like, yeah. Oh, why is my internet being stupid? It's the ghost.
Could be.
See, we brought the ghost and Tony back into existence.
Yeah.
I said, "What'd you
I
say,
don't
Dave?"
know.
Well, I can hear the voice. What'd you say, Dave? You said Tony. Well, you said stream. As soon as you said stream, it's like, all right, guys, you need better streaming service here.
Yeah, no kidding. Gotta love Spectrum.
Hey, listen, don't worry about it, man. Like, we're making it happen. We made it this far towards the end of it, but
Yeah, exactly.
Continue what you were saying. The stream is coming out maybe later on this year. Incredible cast.
Yeah, later on this year. It's gonna come out. Oh yeah, incredible cast. Damien's doing all the practical effects for it too, so the kills are gonna be gnarly.
Yeah.
So
All practical, no CGI.
yeah, all practical.
That's the way to go. That's
Yeah.
a true horror
Nice.
film right there.
Yeah, I did my own stunts in this one as
All
well.
right.
So yeah.
There stunt man,
Yeah.
David. That's what I'm talking about.
I had a really fun day one day, and they're like, "Dave, are you sure you want to do this?" I think it's because Jason Levy wanted to do the stunt. I'm like, no, I want to do it. I want to do it. I did it, and I was like, yeah, I did that.
Yeah, that's right. Coming out there with the
Did that.
cigar, right? Cigar
Yeah.
like Schwarzenegger coming out with the body.
Oh, yeah.
I did the stunts. That's it. I did my own
I
stunt.
did it. Call me Tom Cruise.
Oh man, but Dave, before we let you go again, I want to thank you for coming on, taking the time over here. Many things coming up. We're looking forward to, especially hopefully seeing you somewhere in the Northeast. When's your first con up here in the Northeast?
I don't know. I have to look again.
Well, we'll see it. I know
Yeah.
for sure we're going to see it on social media, man. But we're definitely going to see it sometime this year.
Yeah,
God
I would love
willing.
to go to Monster Mania if they'll have me. So hey, Monster Mania.
Now, I got a question for you. Well, before we let you go, I organized some different things here. Terrifier 2. Now, there's no set date for when that's going to be released yet.
Correct. No, not yet.
But you think it's going to be before summertime, around summer?
Yeah. That's what we hope. We want early mid this year. So yeah.
All right. So what I'm thinking is, would you be opposed to maybe having a screening of that somewhere with like maybe a meet
I'd
and
love
greet,
that.
Q&A, something like that?
I would love that. I mean, I want this to be seen in front of a big, huge audience. So yeah.
Because I'm thinking maybe we organize something at the Mahoning Drive-In or something like that.
Yeah, who knows?
when the
Talk to
weather's
Damien.
nice.
That's all out of my control.
Yeah. That's what I was
I
thinking.
just show up.
He's like, you call me and I'm there. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I'll be there.
Well, yeah, that'd be nice to see it on the big screen, have something like that just for the Terrifier
Yeah, especially
crew.
at the drive-in.
definitely.
Can you
Yeah.
imagine that?
Oof.
Oh,
Oh,
See
my
an Art the
gosh.
Clown on a big
having
screen.
Josh walking in between the
Oh,
cars.
yeah.
Oh yeah. We did something like that at the Kreischer Mansion out on Staten Island back in 2020. We did a little screening of Terrifier. They did a little drive-in there. That was cool.
Nice.
My buddy Francesco, dressed as Art, was going up and just scaring people in the cars and stuff like that.
Nice. Awesome.
I was like, that's awesome. Yeah.
We definitely got it. We're gonna talk. I'm gonna reach out to Damien. Hopefully, he's like, "Who's this crazy guy over here?" We gotta. I'll reach out to him though and see if. But Dave, I want to thank you once again, man, for coming on the
Yeah, it was a
show,
pleasure.
taking
Yeah,
the
it was a
time.
pleasure having you on, David.
Josh is the big fan here. So, Josh, any last questions?
No, I just want to say, I'm a huge fan of your work in the movies, and Art the Clown really did it for me. I mean, I love cosplaying your character, and I'm excited to see where he's gonna
keep
go.
doing it.
Yeah, like I love this character,
Yes.
and I know it's gonna be big. I'm telling people right now, like he's gonna be up there
Oh.
with Michael, Jason, and Freddy and Leatherface. You're on that pedestal, man. You are. So keep pumping these Terrifiers out.
Knock on wood. Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
This episode was far from terrifying. This was phenomenal. Dave, thank you once again. Brian, don't even look at me.
Thank
with that
you.
look over there. See him over here. This guy, I gotta see him every week, and he still gives me a picture of himself for Christmas.
Well,
You
where
know that, Dave?
is my picture? It should be behind
No,
you.
it's burnt in the fireplace already. Okay.
So David, in case there's more Terrifiers, and you want to do a reboot of the original, and I'm in the diner. I have an extensive background as a diner extra. So let's know. Extensive.
You
can have
3 seconds.
Like instead of 8 likes, you're up to 9 likes.
Aha! Oh, is it
3 seconds in the diner, and now you want 10. You have 8x10s of yourself. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. Horror fans, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Horror 365, and thank you for celebrating horror not only in October but 365. We're gonna see you next week.